Hi all, I am Roshni Alex, Assistant Professor, Department of Electronics, MES College, Marapalli.
Now we will discuss the DC motor interfacing using PWM and opto-isolator. Before watching this video, learn timers thoroughly since we use the PWM modes of timers. Refer to the figure in this example. Write a program to monitor the status of the switch and perform the following. If port A7 equal to 1, the DC motor moves with 25% duty cycle. If port A7 is equal to 0, then the DC motor moves with 50% duty cycle. This is the diagram. Here this is the AVR and OC0 output. The timer 0, OC0 output, that is the PV3, is used to generate the PWM and it is given to the opto-isolator. Here we have used ILD7 for opto-isolator, and the output of the opto-isolator is given to the motor through a driver transistor. For driving motors, it is preferable to use the phase correct PWM mode. From the equation for duty cycle in phase correct PWM mode, we can find the value to be loaded in the OCR0 register. This is the equation. From this, we have to find out two values, that is one for 25% duty cycle and the other for 50% duty cycle. And the OCR0 value to be loaded for 25% duty cycle is 64 and for 50% it is 127. By rearranging this equation, we can find the OCR0 value. And from the equation for generated wave frequency, we can find the prescaler value n. We get the prescaler value as 64, which means CS02, CS01 and CS00 will be set as 011, and this is the value corresponding to the prescaler value 64. And for phase correct PWM, the WGM00 and WGM01 are 10. The value is 10 for phase correct PWM, and we are using the inverted mode. For inverted mode, this COM0 and COM1 are 11. Thus, the control word for to be loaded into the TCCR0 register is 73. This one, the 73. First, we are making the port B register as output. We are not using the entire port. We are using only the third bit, PB3. So we are setting the DDR-B register in order to make PB3 as output. Then pin 7 of port A is set in order to activate the pull-up resistor. And the value 73, the control register, control word for TCCR0 is moved to TCCR0 register, which means the prescaler value is 64. We are using the phase correct PWM and in the inverted mode. Now we are going to read the pin register, that is the status of the switch. Now suppose if the switch is off and equal to 0, then the program first checks if the bit is clear. Here it checks whether that bit is clear. Yes, it is true. So it skips the next step. That is LDR16, 64 will be skipped, and it moves to the next instruction, that is SBIS pin A, 7. And while checking that condition is false, so it moves to the next instruction, that is it is loaded with the R16 is loaded with the value 127, which means 127 is for 50% duty cycle. And in the question we have seen that if the switch is off, we need to run the motor at 50% duty cycle. So the value 127 is loaded to R16 and it is moved to the OCR0 register, and the output of OCR0 will be a wave generated with duty cycle 50% and the motor runs at 50% duty cycle. Now suppose if the switch is on, which means if that bit 7 is 1, then when we check SPIC pin A7 is executed, the condition is false. So it will execute the next step, that is R16 will be loaded with 64. Now when it comes to this instruction, that is SBIS pin A is executed, which is true. So it skips the next instruction, that is LDI R16, 127, and it goes to the next instruction. Now R16 has 64, the value 64 in it, and it will be loaded to OCR0 register, which means now the motor runs at 25% duty cycle when the switch is on. And we have given it in an infinite loop. So the program will continue until the reset button is set. So this is all about interfacing a DC motor using PWM and opto isolator. Thanks for listening.